Come share the journey of success. Tune in the first week of every month and be encouraged as Michelle Bohm, the founder and CEO of Inspired Style Company, and Reagan Ward, the founder and creative director of Leslie Tyler Design, showcase guests as they share their success stories and their challenges. Along the journey to your success, there are many great adventures and great sights, but also detours and roadblocks. You can learn from it all and achieve your goals and dreams, whatever they may be.
Hello, my friends, and welcome on this beautiful day here in Peoria. I'm Michelle Bohm, and if you are tuning in expecting to see me say welcome to Inspired, you're going to be disappointed. But I know you won't be disappointed in what we have to show you today. Again, I'm Michelle Bohm, and I'm here with my co-host, Reagan Ward.
Reagan, nice to meet you formally. Yes.
I am so excited.
Yes.
This used to be the Inspired time slot, but we are changing our format and bringing you a new show called The Journey.
Yes,
Yeah.
The Journey. I'm so excited.
I am beyond excited.
Yes. So,
I always have like a little zippity doodah in my step when it's nice out, when
exactly.
the weather's nice.
Yes.
So that always gives me a little pep in my step,
Yes.
but I was just like skipping in here today.
Oh no,
I'm so excited.
such a, I think, needed topic,
Yes.
in terms of what we see and what we hear about in stories. I feel like this is like fitting that niche that it's just...
That this doesn't exist. So, and we want it, so we're making it exist.
Exactly.
That's what you can do
Make
when
it
you
happen.
decide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so on the journey, of course, this is brought to you by I've Decided, which is how Reagan and I met. And we agreed to do this when we didn't really know each other.
No, not really.
But when Kim Martin asks you to do something,
Right, you do it.
You just don't say no. We're two of the million people.
She'll just keep asking.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So
it's easier to say no or say yes the first time.
That's right. You don't resist. So, which is actually a point on the journey. You shouldn't resist it, right?
Right.
So we agreed to do this together, and we're going to talk about the journey that we have had to get to this point, but throughout these episodes, we're going to bring them all of the amazing
and
things,
resources
correct?
and
Yes.
stories. So like you'll know the nitty gritty. I think that's the thing that I feel like sometimes we glaze over. We mention, but we don't really get into like the hows, and we talk about that. And I feel like that is part of the success, in my opinion. I feel like that is such a beautiful part of it that, you have to kind of cherish it and enjoy the journey just as much as you are looking forward to that end result or that goal that you might have in mind. So
you see like the Olympians on the podium with their medals.
Right.
And
no, but I want to know, like, okay, take me back,
Tell me those blood, sweat, and tears.
Right, those stories.
To get you there.
So,
Because you didn't land on that podium.
No, and it wasn't all roses.
No.
So, and like I said, I feel like sometimes you have your mindset on a goal and where you want to be, and you think that all the other, crud is just something to get through, when I think you should cherish it and learn from it and enjoy it, and it is such that, it's the most beautiful part, so.
The ups and downs. So, because we didn't really know each other before we started, I have enjoyed so much learning your journey. Why don't you share it with everybody and just tell, how did you land here?
Where I am. So I'm the creative director of an interior design studio here in Peoria, Leslie Tyler Design. And it really was kind of a round circle, goal. I remember telling my parents when I was very young, my very first, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to be an artist. I loved coloring. So in my opinion, I was going to figure out some way to,
make money coloring.
So I obviously learned quickly that wasn't quite as simple as opening up your coloring book. But then I wanted to be an architect. And you kind of go through all of these things as a child. And kind of have always been involved in the arts. My parents did an amazing job of kind of exposing me to all types of different outlets in terms of, violin. And I was, in the symphony, and then I did dance, and then I did theater, and then I was in math and science camp. So I was all over the place. So in high school, I wanted to be pre-med. I had changed, exactly, all over the place. So I wanted to be an OBGYN. I was like convinced that was what I was going to do. And actually right before I graduated from Illinois Wesleyan. Right before I went to school, my mom's like, well, if you had to wake up every day and do something, what would it be? So I was like, well, I want to be in the arts. So I quickly switched. I was accepted at West Point for pre-med, ended up going to Wesleyan for theater arts. So when I say I was all over the place, I had a complete
hey,
everything.
I get it. I
want to do it all, Mom. Why can't I? So
why are you going to make me choose?
Well, and then what's so crazy is I did theater arts, and then about junior year decided, I actually like film better. And I had an amazing faculty that encouraged that. So I was able to do a little bit of film, a little bit of theater, and then fell in love back with, I guess, homes. I guess I never fell out of it. I always enjoyed architecture. I enjoyed interiors. But it wasn't until after I had my child, after we bought our first home, that I was like, this is really what...
This is it.
This is what I really want to dig into. And so, like I said, but I feel like all of those points along the way helped give me, at least, a better... vision of what I really wanted to do. And I feel like they all played a role in that end goal. So
it seems all over the board, but really it's not. You're just figuring out
how
it goes together.
Well, and making it make sense in our modern world.
Yes.
So sometimes, your love is, you kind of have to tweak it, you kind of have to turn it. But like I said, it was such a beautiful journey that each of those points and each of those things made such an impact in my life.
Everything makes you get to here,
who you
right?
are.
All paths lead to here.
Exactly. So that's kind of my journey, and that's kind of what all those little things played a role in where I am today. But I would like to learn about yours as well, because I know that you own a boutique.
You think OBGYN and art are two different things. Wait till you hear my journey. So it's funny because I am kind of the opposite. I would have said I'm not creative at all, and which is why I'm so drawn to creative people, because I want to learn. Like, I want to know how you do this and how your brain works. And it's like, I love that you can see things that other people can't see. Well, I can see things that other people can't see, but it's in a different way. It's in a different world. Like, I can take all these pieces and put them together. And now I finally have figured out how all my pieces fit together. But I was that kid that was like the super serious. My favorite toy when I was a kid was a briefcase that I took from my mom. She was going to college and she had this cool briefcase. I still have it. I will never forget this thing.
Oh no, you can't.
And I would take it and I'd play. I'd make my sister, my cousins, and everybody play business is what we played. So I knew that I wanted to go into business. And I have had, like you, amazing mentors, amazing teachers along the way. I had a high school teacher that encouraged me really she was the first woman entrepreneur that I ever met. I didn't even know what that was. I thought business was you go work for somebody and you carry a briefcase. That's what you do.
Exactly.
And so the world that I saw that I thought I could fit in was banking. Like the most serious, boring, I love the idea of wearing a suit to work every day and sitting and playing on a computer. Like, that was just cool to me. So that's what I went to school for. I went to Missouri State, and I majored in finance and business administration. So lots of accounting and economics and very serious
business stuff.
Yeah. So I was a serious business person, and I was going to be a vice president of a bank before I was 30, and it was going to be fantastic. And I did. I got pretty close, but then I had kids at 28. And that was not my plan, but that's what happens. And suddenly working for somebody else was not working for me. As much as I loved it, and as much as I had amazing mentors in that world, and I thought I would take that path, my life changed.
And that's so beautiful.
I had to change with it. You have to grow with it. So that's when I left the bank and decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and that lasted all of 30 seconds before I was going crazy. And I was like, I need something to put all of this energy into, because I'm losing it. So I did not know that this other industry existed where I could work in direct sales. And so I started with a handbag company called Michi. And I was like, perfect, I can have a business, I can work from home. And then when my kids go to school, then I'll go back to my real job. This is just going to be something fun that I can do. That's kind of businessy. But once I got into it, and again, amazing mentors showed me along the journey, I was like, wow, you can really control your destiny with this. You control when you work, how you work. It's limitless. And suddenly that opened my whole world. And now I
knew once you get the bug, I think you can't once you know that limitless possibility, you can't.
And then so from banking to handbags. Okay, right.
Obvious.
Makes total sense. And so I did that for 7 years, and then that company just abruptly closed. And of course I was devastated. But I sat back because now my kids are in school. And I was like, well, I could go back to banking.
Right.
What do I like to do?
Right.
Okay. I like helping women start businesses. I like figuring out complex problems. I like being around people and connections and all that kind of stuff. So I just kept mulling that over. And I am not somebody that spends a lot of time in like beauty and fashion and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like maybe been in a salon 10 times in my life. And then I decided to open one.
Right. You're like,
that's
there
what
you go.
you do.
That's obvious.
Yes.
Again, obvious choice.
right. I was sitting in a salon getting my hair done for my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just having this quiet moment with myself. And it was like somebody slapped me in the face and said, right here, this is where you're supposed to be.
Wow.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I looked to my sister and I said, a voice just told me I'm going to beauty school. And she's like, okay, we are going to get you committed because that doesn't even make any sense.
Right, because she played with you.
Yes, she's
playing
like,
business for all those years.
You didn't even own Barbies. Like, come on.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right.
So I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I went to beauty school for a day. I was going to enroll and I was like, I can't do this. I can't pretend that this is what I'm supposed to do. So I thought maybe I'll just coach other people. And then eventually, like, it's the circumstances that had to happen for me to end up where I am. It's like a whole nother, I don't know. I can't explain it. But either way, anyway, everything lined up. And I went to go look at a salon for a friend.
Wow.
And 2 days later, I signed the lease. So now I'm a salon owner.
Yes.
And it was like I was perfectly designed to do this.
And the thing, absolutely. And then what I hear is that all of those little tiny steps, although unexpected, led you to where you're supposed to be. So I feel like you have to honor those things and kind of submit to letting your journey be its journey. You know, even though you might not know each step, like trusting that
it all works out. Like the dots all line up when you look back.
When you look back,
you
now
can
in the midst
see.
of it, you're probably like, I'm
like
losing
hanging
my
onto
mind.
the wheel, trying to keep it on the road, and
white
it's
knuckling.
pulling me this way.
Right, but you know, to me that's such a beautiful thing. And a fellow mother that you know, sometimes we have this idea in our minds of how things are going to go, and you know, that to me is such a beautiful change of course.
Yes.
That sometimes it's that unexpected, you know, addition that you're like, oh wait.
Well, I can do things this way or that way.
Or make my own schedule. You know, that was something that you valued. And, you know, I value as well. And I feel like any mother out there values being able to be there for your child and also be, you know, someone in your own identity as well. So
still having, you know.
Yeah, you're not just a mother. You know, it's like I have other talents, you know, I mean, but very important too. And, you know, something that's not going to keep you from them. So I just, like I said, to me, your journey is just something that should be honored. And I'm just so excited that we have now a platform for that. And we can, you know, talk to other business owners and really get into that nitty gritty. And it's like, okay, we know that you're successful. We know that you own this business, but let's talk about beforehand.
Yeah, I want to know all the times you failed.
Yeah.
I want to know what missteps you made and then how you course corrected. I want to know, how did you fit all those pieces together? Because that's what I kept saying.
Right.
I have all the pieces. I just can't figure out how they all
work. And and I think that is so, I guess you can take away so much from that, because then I feel like even if your path is not exactly as someone else's, you can kind of trust that, like, oh, okay, well, this person obviously went from, you know, business to beauty school, but then it all seemed to work out. And I'm sure that those business practices
very helpful.
Very helpful. I feel like I should have gone to business school. I'm like, no, that was a smart choice there. But yeah, I mean, and even if they seem, you know, but I feel like a lot of times in our minds we think that, you know, the doctors always wanted to be doctors and that's what they did and that's what, you know, but sometimes they're not. And sometimes it's something different. And sometimes you thought you were going to be a doctor and you ended up, you know, not even remotely interested in that.
Well, and every successful person I talk to, they all say the same things. Have you noticed that? Like,
that
they're like, all the same things.
But I think that the perseverance and the keep taking that next step and don't giving up. Not giving up. Is just, it's vital. And I feel like I feel like the difference between making and not necessarily each decision that you make, but just the fact that you have to keep going.
Right.
You know, that's the main thing. Is if you stop, then that's when you're
done.
Yeah. But if you keep going, then those things will lead you to where you're supposed to be. So,
and that's what I want to bring on this show is helping people understand the evolution that you go through personally, because until I started talking to people, and honestly, you have to be a little vulnerable to be able to say, like, I'm scared to death.
Right.
I am terrified.
Right.
And then when Reagan says, me too.
Then you don't feel like
Then I
so
was like,
crazy.
oh.
You're like, okay, we're all crazy. But then it makes you a little less scared, right?
Yes, it
Because then you're like,
does.
there's somebody else out there and they don't know what they're doing either. And
Right.
guess what? They're not, committed or something like that.
I know.
They're making it work. And, I feel like it's, the platform of I've decided has been so vital.
That's why I go to the meetings.
Oh yeah, because then you can have that like, hey, are we on like, okay, we're all on at least the same crazy
Right.
boat, but there's other people on the boat with me.
There's
on
other
the boat with me.
weirdos. Like,
Right,
I
right.
feel so weird when I'm around other people that I'm like, I can't explain why I have to do this. I can't explain it.
No, because
And-
if you look at, a lot of
Yes.
times you're like, you got a degree, you could easily get any job and not have to
Yeah.
worry about it, not stay up late at night. And I feel like that bug that you found when it's like,
Yeah.
I've got limitless possibilities. Like, and I don't have a cap on, I mean, it's not all about money, but even income. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I can.
I
The
can do
sky's
whatever
the
I want.
limit. Who knows? I don't know. I always tell my mom, I'm like, I'm a millionaire. I
Yeah.
just don't have all my money.
I
yet.
just
You know?
haven't. I haven't collected it
Right.
yet.
It's not
out
liquid
there.
assets available, but yeah.
Not liquid.
Right, exactly. But yes, I think that
Yeah.
knowing that you can just basically create your own destiny, create something, and
Yes.
there is no, I guess, cap on where you're going to be
Kind
and
of
what you're going
realizing,
to
like,
do.
No, I said that to one of my old boss, who was an amazing mentor at the bank to me. And after everything happened, he's like, come back. And I said, you can't pay me what I'm worth now.
Right.
Like, I've seen.
Right, you've seen the light,
I've
and you're
seen
like,
the
I'm
other
sorry,
side.
but yeah, and not that
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is for everyone, because
Oh,
it
no,
does. It
it's not.
takes some
It's-
grit and it takes some grind and muscle. But I feel like regardless of where your goal is, if it's in business or if it's in something else,
Yeah.
You just got to keep at it.
Keep
and
putting one foot in front of the other, in front
And
of the
I
other.
feel like hopefully we can bring that story that keeps you, motivated, keeps you kind of checking back in to know that, like, okay, it'll be fine. It'll be good. And, and even if I'm like way over here and I think my goal's here, I might
that's
end
how
up
I'm
that
supposed-
way.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not where I'm supposed to be in the first place, And I feel
Yeah.
like even like for me, if I went to medical school, like I said, I was accepted at West Point, like
Yeah.
signed up, ready to go. And I'm like,
Change your mind.
that's a little committed. But now that I'm a mother, I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's my personal preference. I'm not saying that's for
happened
everyone.
but
But happened for a reason. And I'm so, so grateful now that, I did the work 10 years ago before
Yeah.
she even got here, that
Yeah.
now I can be
You can do that.
flexible. And now I can have my business, my interior design business, and I can still be at home most of the time with her. And it's, like I said, everything works out. And
Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, and owning a business, I do liken it to motherhood all the time, because it is.
That's the best practice.
Brings you so much joy, but it also makes you want to die.
Simultaneously. It's
at the
like
same
it's
time.
not even like you get one and then the other emotion.
It's like one good day, one bad day.
It's all together, but
Yes.
yeah, and I feel like that's part of it. And then,
sometimes it's a thankless job. It's done in the dark, where
in
people
the dark,
don't see the work.
in the middle of the night, and you're up,
Yeah.
doing emails and getting this prepared
Yeah.
because you've got to be ready for them when they wake up and be there. So I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it's juggling those things that I always, when I grew up, like you, kind of didn't realize there was women in that business
World.
ownership world.
Yeah.
But then now as I'm getting older, and I'm hoping it's just because the tides are changing,
Yeah.
that there's so many women
Yes.
that are doing it, and so many mothers that
We're
are doing
moving
it.
in the right direction
Yes.
there, I
Oh,
think.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So I feel like
And
we're going to
it's
be the
not-
cheerleaders.
It's not about owning a business. It's about choosing your destiny. Like, whatever you want,
Right.
you can
Right,
get. So
right.
that's what I like about I've decided is we have people from all these
All
different worlds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and like I
it's
said, even if
amazing.
it's losing weight, getting healthy,
Whatever it is.
whatever it is, whatever your goal is, I feel like there's
Yeah.
we'll just be here cheering
We'll
you
we'll
on.
go through all of those
Yes,
with
yes.
you on
Yes.
the journey, and so I hope that people have got to know us a little bit better.
You know us. I know why we're here, what we'll be talking about. We're going to be having hosts, and I think if there's, I don't know if you can tell them how to submit if they've got ideas.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking about this, like, what would you want to know as you were getting ready to start the journey? If you're thinking about doing something and you have a question for us, or how do I get connected? How do I find a mentor? How do I apply for a business loan. Hey, guess what? I got some finance experience. Maybe I could give you some tips or some names
or
or
if
whatever.
there's someone in the community that you want to hear their story, we'll hunt them down and hopefully bring them on.
Please share that. Just go to the I've Decided community page on Facebook, type in I've Decided, and the community page will pop up there. If you're already a member of the I've Decided community, you already have access to all of that. But if you're not, you need to check it out because gosh, for $12.95 a month, that is like change your life kind of access to these different things.
It really
if you are not in the I've Decided community, do that first and then come watch us second.
Right.
So I'm Michelle Bohm here with
I'm
my
Reagan
friend.
Ward. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the journey, and we will be back here the first Tuesday of every single month. You can find us old episodes on PeoriaLife.com or on I've Decided. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next month.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
PeoriaLife.com